Hello, everybody. I'm going to do a quick review on my touring bike setup that I have. This is a 2021 Trek FX3, and when I bought this, I had really no intentions of doing any touring, I guess. It's kind of a long story how I started doing it. But anyway, I had bought this bike, my old bike I'd had for like 20 years, old giant Cypress. It was pretty comfortable, but it was a size too big. I wanted to upgrade. Didn't really have to, but I wanted something new. I settled on this, and then when I did, I don't know, after a year or so of riding it, I started looking into bike touring for some other reasons, and I decided I want to start riding some bike trails, do some overnight camping, just kind of get away, relax a little bit. And I did not want to buy a new bike, even though my wife told me I could. I did not. I thought I'd try to make this work first. And so far, it's worked great. I may upgrade. I wouldn't mind having a steel frame bike or maybe something a little more, I guess, built for touring or bike packing or bike camping, whatever you want to call it. But this is my little setup. We can go through this real quick. Um, some of the things that I've changed, I put different grips on it. These are the Ergon GP5s. They got the nice flat piece there. The bar ends. One thing I did was change the bar ends, or not change them, but wrapped them in bar tape. I was having troubles with my hands going numb on, 7, 8 hours in the saddle, and my hands were going numb. My left hand in particular. And I ride with my hand up here a lot, and so that's where they were going numb at. And that little bend right here was putting pressure on a nerve. Well, wrapped it in bar tape, made it a little fatter, softer, no more pain at all, or numbness, or whatever you want to call it. That was a huge improvement, one of the better ones I made. I had changed the bars out because Trek, the FX, has their proprietary bars with the ISO system, which were comfortable grips, but I wanted something different. These bars are almost identical, minus the ends. They're a set of cheap race face bars. And then my little bell, it's just a little cheap Rock Brothers bell. I do have a Bond Traeger, flipping that thing, a Bond Traeger rechargeable light, and it, of course, has all the settings: bright, dimmer, then flashing. But I do run that whenever I ride. I live out in the country. I ride primarily oil chip roads and gravel or dirt. And I do run that because tractors and farmers and just people riding around in general. Um, then I don't have a fancy bike computer. I have a Cat Eye Velo 7 that I use. It just keeps me honest with the speedometer, and it keeps track of my mileage a little bit. Then over here, I do run a mirror. I highly recommend everybody runs a mirror. Another great addition I think I made. I never had a mirror before, always wanted one, and I found this one. It's the Miracle. It just goes right into bar end. They make them for several different things, but I can actually see pretty well with that mirror. It's like driving a car. I'm constantly watching it. I can see cars coming up behind me. I changed out my stem to give me a little more rise, a little less reach. I'm not a tall guy. I like to be a little bit more upright than most people do, probably, just because I'm kind of beat up. But this is a Ritchie adjustable. I played with it a little bit. I think it could probably go up further if I wanted it to, but I don't know. It's probably pretty close to maxed out. It's about perfect for me. And then I have a magnetic cap a stem cap which holds beer bottle caps. So I've got a Stag one on there currently. If anybody knows me, they know why. But if I go somewhere, I can change those out pretty easy. And then moving down on the front here, of course I've got, these are just some cheap handlebar bag. And then this thing here holds my phone. It's cheap, it's broken. I need to get a new one. It's just a little cheap gas tank bag. I'm gonna replace those both probably this year. Now rack wise, this is where I ran into a lot of research, I guess. Trouble figuring this out. Because it has a carbon fork. Like I said, I didn't buy this bike to tour, I bought it to ride, and then I decided to tour. So, in contact with Trek, and they sent me a big rack that ended up not working, and it was kind of a fiasco. I bought a different one at a local bike shop, and it didn't work right. So then I got this. This is a Tubus Terra rack, and it's worked great. Holds my panniers perfect. So I'm pretty happy with it. And like I said, I was in contact with Trek quite a bit. I was worried about these carbon forks, and they told me, so I'll tell you, so take it for what it's worth. As long as the weight limit on the bike is 300 pounds. So as long as the bike, me, and all my gear don't exceed 300 pounds, it'll be fine. I've been pretty heavy loaded with me and all my gear. I travel pretty heavy. I'm more of a Clydesdale than a quarter horse. So, and I like to be comfortable because I'm not young. So my days of sleeping and being uncomfortable outside are hopefully over. But that's my setup for the front end, and it works pretty well. So no issues yet. Onto the tires. I think this came with 32s. It says max of 38. These are 700 by 38. These are Schwalbe all motion evolutions. They've been great. I actually contacted Schwalbe, told them what I was doing, and what tires did they recommend, and this is what they said for bike trails and gravel riding on a tour. This is what they recommended to me. I've really had no trouble. Like everything I buy, it seems like these were supposed to be great for no flats. I ride my local bike trail. I've got maybe 100 miles on them, and ran a locust thorn right through them. But since then, no issues. And I've ridden thousands and thousands of miles on them since. So those are my tires. I'm gonna move back here. These are just some cheap pedals off of Amazon. I ride flats. I wanted a bigger pedal. These have pretty good, like Alston or something is the name of them. They have pretty good cleats on them. I really like them. Then my pump is a Topeak Roadmorph G. It actually has a little, this bike's pretty dusty. A lot of riding in the gravel. It actually has a gauge on it, so I do like that. When I had to use it the one time when the tire blew or got a hole in it, I used it, no issues. I was able to see what my pressure was, so that was huge. My old ones, cheap ones, never did that. These are just some aluminum bottle holders, just plain old bottle holders. And then you'll see down here what that is. Started off life because sometimes I'll ride pretty far in the heat and I run out of water. So I was at my local, actually I bought it at Shields, and it was a Bell, I forget what it's called. I got it written down. Hold on a second. A Bell Cinch. Had Velcro straps and a plastic water bottle holder. Well, it absolutely sucked. I've tried it in 3 or 4 different spots. The plastic bottle holder, my bottles were too heavy. They'd fall out sometimes if I wasn't careful. The Velcro wasn't great. So what I did is I took it all apart, and I had this metal bottle holder, and I was able to mount it. I took the old one off, screws and everything, mounted right to it. Then I had some really heavy duty um, zip ties, and I took those heavy duty zip ties, zip tied it to the frame, and that thing has never moved at all. It's been great. I carry a third water bottle down here. And what I do is if it gets, like when I rode the Nicholson Trail, it had cow poop all over it. So I just fill my other bottles up from it, so that works out pretty well. Moving along here, my seat post of a suspension seat post. Like I said, I want to be comfortable. I'm not worried about being fast. It's a Sun Tour NCX. It's been great. Makes quite a bit of difference on these rough roads. Saddle wise, this is a Terry gel, Terry Eliminator maybe, and it's much better than my saddle that Trek sent me that came with the bike. It's 10 times better, but I still may play around with some upgrades. Maybe try a Brooks. Let me know in the comments what you guys think, if anybody's tried that or any of this other stuff. Let's see, what else have I got here? My rear rack. This also came from Trek. It's a Bontrager. I think it was called a back rack, maybe, or back rack deluxe. It's got, the extra supports on there for your panniers. Yeah, no issues at all. I really like it. And then just a cheap. This is actually just a cheap rechargeable light that I use when I ride out here. Underneath, toe peak bag, that's where I carry my spare tube, tire lever, some change, my tools, anything that I think I might need on my bike. That's where I keep all that. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I have. I don't believe there is. The one thing you might notice is I kind of went with a color scheme. This isn't usually my thing of making things pretty. I'm not a form over function guy. I just prefer things work. And but at one of the local bike shops, the guy was telling me, "Oh, you should make it your own." And I kind of like red, and the gray and the black kind of went pretty well with the red. So what I did was went to my auto parts store and bought this right here. This is Duplicolor metal cast, and you lay a base layer of silver paint down, and then you spray this over. It's supposed to give it kind of that anodized look, and you can see it does. I mean, obviously it's got some wear marks on it. I'll show you the back rack as well, but it's the same. There's wear marks on it, but that doesn't bother me at all. But I think it makes the bike look okay, something different. But I think that's everything. If you guys got any questions, feel free to ask me, and I'll do my best to answer them. I'm a small channel, so I'm not like I'm getting overwhelmed with questions. Yeah, but it works great. Like I said, I've been on multiple trips, and some overnighters, some for 7 or 8 days, and it's been great so far. And I hope to get a lot more rides in it again. So if you would like and subscribe and all that good stuff, I'd appreciate it. Got any questions, feel free to ask. And thanks for watching.